Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 2 of the Big Fight Field podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Big Fight Field podcast, right here on the Big Fight Field channel on Sunday, March 14th, 2021. I got my brother here this evening for a very special podcast. Would you like to talk to them about what we are talking about tonight?
It is the March Madness special. The March Madness bracket for college basketball came out today, literally about 30 minutes ago. I can't wait to break into each and every matchup and who will be the 2021 college basketball national champion.
We're going to critique and break down every game the best way we possibly can. But we need you guys to do one favor really quick. We need you to, just for the occasion, sit down, bring your favorite drink, and enjoy the Big Fight Field podcast. Cheers, mate. Ooh, first drink really comes in very nicely, but I thank you guys for joining us, not me, us, here today on the Big Fight Field podcast. I figure I'd change some stuff up for this week. Wrestling talk, I put that aside because I know we're going to have a lot of that the next couple weeks leading into WrestleMania. Next weekend's Fastlane, and then WrestleMania is just 3 weeks after Fastlane. So I figured this week would be a good week to put it off. And I figured, what can I do for episode 2 of the podcast? And I think I couldn't think of a bigger way than to, have my brother on who does keep up with the NCAA basketball daily. Not as much as me. I watch it occasionally, but he keeps up with it a lot. And we're here to give you our preview for the NCAA March Madness bracket.
Yep. I'm excited to go through every matchup, the potential upsets, the potential Cinderella stories of the NCAAs. This is one of the biggest tournaments probably in the world, to be honest with you.
I think it's one of the biggest tournaments in a very long time because you think about the pandemic. The pandemic was 1 year ago today. And what's one thing everybody looks forward to in March?
March Madness.
Exactly. And
last year it got taken away from us. There's some teams that were nobody expected to be one seeds, like Dayton Flyers, the San Diego State Aztecs. But hey, it got taken away last year, but now this year it's coming back bigger, better, and stronger. And I can't wait to go through every single matchup of the NCAA March Madness tournament.
And slowly but surely, you have fans coming back in. There will be fans at the NCAA tournament. I know they're running some games at Lucas Oil Stadium and the Baker's Life Fieldhouse and other colleges. I think aren't they running on the campus of Indiana?
I think so. And I know they're running it at Colgate Stadium and where the Pacers play basketball.
Yep.
Let's get into it.
Now, before we get into everything on the podcast related to March Madness, like I said, I will get back into the wrestling topics and takes next week on the podcast here on the channel, so don't miss that. And if you have not already, make sure you guys go check out my AEW Dynamite review this past Wednesday and this past Friday's SmackDown review here on the channel. So if you haven't already, make sure you go check out both of those reviews. Now we are going to dive in to the March Madness tournament. So like I said, we'll be here for about an hour breaking down the tournament. I hope you guys sit back, relax, and just enjoy the podcast, man. So Brady, we're going to start off with the South region.
The South region, here we go.
I look at this bracket that was revealed, and I have my team North Carolina in there, and obviously I think they're going to do pretty good. I mean, not going to win the whole thing, but I look at this bracket here, and this is probably my favorite bracket in the entire tournament so far. Like, if you look at this bracket, just look at the teams. You have Baylor, you have Wisconsin and North Carolina, which a couple years ago, I think that was a Sweet 16 matchup, if I'm not mistaken. You have a team like Villanova. You have Winthrop. You have Arkansas, who you like a lot in this tournament. We have Virginia Tech. We have Ohio State. There are a lot of good teams in this tournament and a lot of good teams that I could see making a good run in the tournament.
Yeah, and the matchup I'm probably looking forward to the most from this side of the bracket, I have two of them. I like the 12 seed versus the 5 seed. I'm liking Winthrop. As I say, winners win. Winthrop is 23-1 on the year. They have one loss. They beat up everybody in their conference tournament to get to where they are now. And Villanova, they still do have Jeremiah Robinson Earl, the power forward, but they did lose one of their best players, one of their shooting guards, Connor Gillespie, to a season-ending injury. So this is a very interesting spot here for Villanova and Winthrop.
Yeah, we're going to run down through the entire South region first. We'll get into the round of 64, the 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8, and then who we think gets to the Final Four. And then at the end of the podcast, we are going to predict our Final Four, who goes into the finals, and who is going to take home the cake, which is the championship. So the first matchup we have is Hartford versus Baylor. This is the 16 versus the 1 matchup, and I'm taking Baylor. I'm sorry. It's just too predictable. I'm going to take Baylor to win.
Yeah.
You never know with these things, but I'm going to take Baylor.
Yeah, only one time ever in NCAA history a 16 seed has beaten the 1 seed. But Baylor is just so athletically sound. They're a great basketball team. They play great defense. They play great offense. They're led by a phenom and guard, Jared Butler, who is a very great player, I feel like. And I have no regrets taking Baylor, beating Hartford, and advancing to the round of 32.
So we both have Baylor going on into this round of 32.
Yep.
Okay. We have Wisconsin versus North Carolina next. Obviously, if you guys don't know, North Carolina is my favorite basketball team in college basketball. My aunt went to North Carolina for college, and I've been a fan ever since. Like, she's gotten me into being a North Carolina fan, and I've been a North Carolina basketball fan for a very long time now. How long would you think I would say? Like, maybe
2013, 2014?
Yeah, like around there for like 8 years. So that is my team in college basketball, the Tar Heels. We have a very tough matchup in the first round, I think. We're playing the Wisconsin Badgers. They took Iowa to the limit this past Friday in the Big Ten championship tournament. This is going to be a very good game, I think. I'm not saying I'm scared, but, we could lose this game. And I'm not going into this game with a whole lot of confidence, but I think with Brooks of North Carolina, what's his first name?
Garrison
Brooks was his lead, and him being the top player on North Carolina, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm gonna take my team here, though. I can't pick against my team, so I'm gonna go with North Carolina.
I think this is going to be a really good game. I feel like every single 8-9 game is 50-50. One thing with Wisconsin is that they have been playing a little bit of lackluster defense, but they do. Throughout the years, they always have. They always shoot the 3-ball well, and the 3-ball will be big in the NCAA tournament because the 3-ball is revolutionizing the new age of basketball. But I can't see Wisconsin pulling out North Carolina. They're getting streaky. They're getting hot, led by a great big man in Garrison Brooks and a great young point guard and freshman Caleb Love. I think he's a great player. I'm going to take North Carolina close to advance the round of 32 to face 1 seed Baylor.
All right, so we both got North Carolina versus Baylor in the round of 32. We'll get to that after we get to the round of 64. Well, we're moving on to the 12-5 matchup, and you already spoke about this earlier, but we have Winthrop against the Villanova Wildcats. Now, in the NCAA tournament, the biggest upset is the 12 seed defeating the 5 seed. So I look at this matchup. I am going to take Villanova, okay? I am going to take the Wildcats to win this matchup, but they're struggling right now. They lost to a Georgetown team in the Big East tournament. Winthrop, didn't they win? They won their conference tournament, right?
With ease.
Yeah.
The Winthrop Eagles, they won their tournament with ease. I heard you take Villanova, but I am taking my first upset. I've been saying it for 2 weeks that I love this Winthrop Eagles team led by Chandler Vondren, who is a beast of a guard. I am taking the upset. Give me the 12 seed Winthrop, as I say, winners win, over the banged up Villanova squad.
So
Winthrop advances to the round of 32.
So Jay Wright.
Jay
Wright. I'm thinking the wrestler Jay White, but Jay Wright, he's getting a first round exit.
Jay Wright is getting a first round exit by the Winthrop Eagles.
Interesting. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to go with the Wildcats on this one. We then have North Texas versus Purdue. Purdue, they lost. Who they lose?
They lost to Ohio State in the Big Ten quarters.
Yes, they lost to Ohio State. I was trying to remember the team, but they were going up against North Texas. Purdue 2 years ago when they were in the tournament, they made a good run. They almost beat Virginia. They almost beat the champions in the year. Yeah, I remember that game that went into overtime. They were very close to winning that game, but I'm gonna take Purdue on this one. I'm not gonna take the chance with North Texas. And I think a couple years ago, we saw this matchup. Didn't we see a game between Villanova and Purdue?
We did see it. We did see it in the round of 32, I'm pretty sure, in 2019, and Purdue pulled it out. I remember. I think we get
the rematch. I think we get the rematch with Villanova and Purdue. And I think this is good. These are Friday games, right?
These are pretty sure. These are Friday games.
Yes. So I think Sunday we get that Villanova-Purdue matchup. That could be a very good game, I think.
That'll be a very good game, but it ain't happening. Winthrop's beating Villanova. But I do agree with you. I'm taking Purdue to beat North Texas. But North Texas did beat a very good Western Kentucky team in the Conference USA final. Western Kentucky led by lottery projected big man Charles Bassey. North Texas beat them in overtime. So I like the North Texas Mean Green, but Purdue and big man Travion Williams will go in, beat them, and advance to face the winning Winthrop Eagle team.
Nice. So we both have Purdue moving on to the round of 32. We're going to move on to the bottom portion of the bracket, where we have Utah State against Texas Tech. It's a good game.
Can I talk about it first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this game is a very underestimated game. I think Utah State, they're a great team. They have a really good center. I forget his name, but he's number 23. He's good. I think his last name is like Cupite or something like that. He's a good center, but let's just be honest. Texas Tech coach Chris Beard, I feel like he always starts to show up when it means something in the March Madness tournament. And led by Mac McClung, I think Texas Tech takes the W over Utah State.
I was thinking about doing the upset in this bracket right here with this 11-6 matchup, but I think you just influenced me that Texas Tech is going to win this. They have the experience. Utah State, they've been in this before. I feel like in 2019 when Texas Tech was in that final, they learned a lesson when they lost to Virginia, and I think they could use that as motivation and motivation to make a good run in this tournament. I do think this is going to be a good game. I think Texas Tech, they will take the W here though. And we, from the next matchup, I think we get another interesting matchup in the round of 32. What I'm talking about right here is Colgate against Arkansas?
I love both these teams, and I'm a big believer in winners win, and Colgate falls under that. And I was hoping they would match a 13 or a 12 seed because I would have picked them to win, but COVID struck them down. They only got to play 15 games this year. They were 14-1. They just won their conference tournament today. But I've been big on Arkansas, red for Arkansas right now today. I can't go back on Arkansas and led by guard Moses Moody. So I got to take the Arkansas Razorbacks in a close one to beat Colgate.
Oh, I'm going to take Arkansas. I don't think Raleigh at 14 beats a 3. It could happen, but I am going to take the Arkansas Razorbacks here. Colgate only has one loss, though, right?
They have one loss, 14-1.
Yeah. So I think that second loss comes to Arkansas, and I think we get Texas Tech versus Arkansas.
Great game.
That is a good game.
Great game.
In the round of 32. And then we have Virginia Tech versus Florida. Now, here's what some of these matchups.
You can go.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Some of these seedings
Yes.
don't make sense. Like Virginia Tech, they're
a fine 10 seed. They're a fine 10 seed. Florida should not be a 7 seed. How the hell did Florida get a 7 seed and LSU get an 8 seed when LSU made the damn SEC final? Florida lost in the quarters? Yeah, they lost in the quarter to Tennessee. That makes no damn sense. But, hey, you can talk about the game.
I just don't get, like, Virginia Tech, they lost to North Carolina. I was very happy about that. But, you know, they were ranked going into, they were going to be a potential 5 or a potential 6.
Yeah.
And they went all the way down to 10. Like, for me, I don't really understand that much. And having Florida at 7, they lost in the quarterfinals. I sort of Virginia Tech, but I don't know. It's just very weird to me. But I guess, do you consider Virginia Tech beating Florida an upset?
I don't consider that being an upset because Virginia Tech is a better team than Florida. So if you're taking Virginia Tech, I'm just going to say I'm taking Virginia Tech too. They're beating Florida.
I'm taking Virginia Tech. And they go on to the winner of Oral Roberts against Ohio State. Ohio State nearly beat Illinois today. That was a great
game.
That was a great Big Ten championship game. But I'm going to go Ohio State. I do think that they will make a good run in this tournament to either the Elite Eight or the Final Four. But we'll get to that later on at the end towards this bracket. But I'm going to go with Ohio State. Who do you got?
I'm going with Ohio State, but all credit out to Oral Roberts. Went out. They were a 4 seed in the Summit League tournament. They went out and beat South Dakota State, and I think they beat South Dakota too. And they won close both times. They deserve to be in this NCAA tournament. But again, E.J. Liddell, the big man from Ohio State, he's just going to be too much. Ohio State beats Oral Roberts big. They go on to face Virginia Tech in an intriguing round of 32 matchup.
Now we're going to get to the round of 32 matchup. Now we have North Carolina versus Baylor. This is where my upset comes in. I'm taking my team here. I'm taking my team. You might not like it. You guys watching might not like it, but I'm going to take my team here. I'm going to take the Tar Heels. They have experience. They have Roy Williams. They've had championship experience. Baylor has that as well. But when was the last time they had a top seed?
I don't know. But this Baylor team, I don't want to say so much better than North Carolina, but they are clearly better than North Carolina. North Carolina is clearly lacking. They had 10 losses, even 10 or more losses this year. There's no way I'll put $10,000 on it. Baylor is beating North Carolina.
Right.
They are not.
It's okay because we can disagree on something.
Yeah, they're not beating. They're not losing to North Carolina. Trust me.
I'm riding with my team here, man. I don't think they're going to win the whole thing, but I do think they make it to at least the Sweet 16. I'm taking the Tar Heels to beat Baylor and go to the Sweet 16. You heard it first here, folks. You heard it here on the Big Fight Field channel. Tar Heels are going to the Sweet 16, And then I have Villanova versus Purdue. You have Winthrop versus Purdue. And this is the rematch of the 2019. Yes. Purdue won that one. I'm gonna pick Purdue to win the second game if they play each other, which I think they will. I do think Purdue will win the second game.
As much as I want to take Winthrop to win this game, I know they are 23-1. They deserve to be there, but Big Ten basketball this year was so good. I feel like Purdue will slightly edge out Winthrop, make it to the Sweet 16 to give us a Baylor-Purdue Sweet 16 matchup. And the last couple of years, Purdue, man, they've just been balling out in the March Madness. So give me Purdue over Winthrop in the round of 32.
We're going to move on to the bottom portion of the bracket here. We have Tex Tech versus Arkansas. That's a good game. That's a very good game.
Can I talk about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Arkansas is going to win. A lot of people might take Texas Tech there. It's a big matchup for Arkansas. Arkansas hasn't been there in a while. Texas Tech has been there. But I believe in guard Moses Moody. I think he comes through. I think this Arkansas team is ready. I'm wearing red for Arkansas right now. Arkansas is coming out. They're going to beat Texas Tech and advance to the Sweet 16.
I'm taking Texas Tech just to ruin the hype train. I'm taking Texas Tech just based off the experience and the motivation that I said that they would have from what happened last year. 2019, yeah. I keep thinking last year, but from 2019. So I'm going with Texas Tech based off the experience. And then we have Virginia Tech against Ohio State. Intriguing game. It's interesting. It's not going to be a bad game, I think. But I think Ohio State, especially after watching them today, even though they lost, I think they are clearly better than Virginia Tech. They have more momentum than Virginia Tech, I think you could say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Ohio State to go to the Sweet 16.
And I'm going to agree. I'm going to hop on your chain. I'm going to go with Ohio State to defeat Virginia Tech in the round of 32 to set up an Arkansas-Ohio State Sweet 16.
Now you can go first with your Purdue and Baylor Sweet 16.
All right. I've been saying it the whole time. Baylor's just, I think, better than basically about every team besides maybe like 6 teams. So it keeps going. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell. Let's go. Baylor to the Elite Eight.
I want to say North Carolina here, but I feel like I'd be too biased if I said North Carolina was going to win this matchup.
I think they're going to win.
I don't think they're going to. I don't think they would beat Purdue. I mean, they would get a couple lucky wins, like not lucky, but like good wins over Wisconsin and Baylor. But I do think Purdue. I like what I saw from them 2 years ago. Who they faced in Sweet 16?
Purdue. Tennessee.
Yeah, they faced Tennessee, and then they had that very good game with Virginia. And even though they lost in the quarters to Ohio State, you see where I'm going with this. I'm going with Purdue to make it to the Elite Eight, and then you have Arkansas versus Ohio State.
And the chain keeps on going. Moses Moody and Arkansas. We're going to keep rolling, and we're rolling into the Elite Eight. Arkansas edges out Ohio State and E.J. Liddell in the Sweet 16. Give me the Razorbacks.
So you have Arkansas
versus
and Baylor. Good game. I'm going to take Ohio State to beat Texas Tech, and I think it's going to set up the rematch in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament between Purdue and Ohio State. Should be an excellent game. I think a big rivalry with Purdue and Ohio State. And out of this region, my team that I have going to the Final Four is Ohio State. I do think they're going to pull it out in this victory. They could use this loss today. Like, as you know, we were upset, we're angry, and we're going to take this in, we're going to take it out on other teams. I think Ohio State, out of the South region, makes it to the Final Four. So I'm going with Ohio State.
And call me crazy. I'm wearing red for a reason. Moses Moody shuts down Jared Butler and the Baylor boys. And the Arkansas Razorbacks are headed to the Final Four.
That's bold.
Over Baylor.
It's pretty bold,
In the
man.
Elite Eight, Arkansas, I'm riding them, man. I'm riding them. They're gonna surprise some teams.
And then we have the West region, which we're going to start off with. We just got done the South region. He's taking Arkansas. I'm taking Ohio State to go to the Final
Surprised
Four.
we didn't take Baylor. No one took Baylor.
I know, right? Norfolk State versus Appalachian State in the winning game. I'm just going to go ahead and take Appalachian State in this one.
I'll take Norfolk State then.
All right. And then I think Gonzaga beats Appalachian State easily, and they go into the elite. They go into the round of 32 game.
Yeah, Gonzaga will beat Norfolk State, go to the round of 32 pretty easily.
But then this could be an interesting game.
Good game.
8-9 on Saturday. Missouri against Oklahoma Sooners. This could be a very interesting game. Don't sleep on the Missouri Tigers. It's going to be a close game, but I am going with Oklahoma.
I'm also going with Oklahoma. I think they have the most top 10 wins, like wins against top 10 teams. So I'm going to take Oklahoma, and it sets up, I think, an intriguing Zaga, Oklahoma, round of 32 matchup.
And then we have a 12-5 matchup between UC Santa Barbara against Creighton, who got absolutely shellacked by Georgetown in the Big East championship game. I really haven't seen much of this UC Santa Barbara team. I don't really know who they are. So just based off of that, I am going to take Creighton to go on to the round of 32.
Man, you don't like these upsets, but I have been watching UC Santa Barbara. They're 24-4. They won their conference. They've just been balling out. I think they have a guy, a point guard, McLaughlin.
What seed were they?
The 1 seed.
Oh, really?
They ran the tournament. I am taking another upset. Creighton has been struggling. They lost their coach was suspended. They're going through they're going through a little bit of drama. Santa Barbara's not. Call me crazy. Back-to-back 12-over-5s. Give me UC Santa Barbara over Creighton.
Wow, you're pulling all the upsets here. Huh?
I am pulling all the upsets, and there's a bigger one coming. You watch.
Is it the next one we're talking about? Ohio and Virginia?
No.
I'm gonna take Virginia.
I'm taking Virginia.
They couldn't play in the ACC semifinal because of COVID. Shockingly, Georgia Tech won the ACC tournament, and we'll talk about them later on in the video. I am going to take Virginia by double digits against Ohio, and I see a Creighton Virginia round of 32 matchup.
Yeah, I think Virginia pulls it out. It's going to be close. Virginia's coming off of a COVID scare in the ACC tournament. They had to back out of the tournament. Luckily, they still nabbed the 4 seed, and they're going up against a very tough Ohio team who did get a big win over Toledo, who had a very good record going into the MAC conference tournament. Ohio came out, won the MAC conference. I'm still taking Virginia. Their defense will always be elite. They're led by Sam Hauser, Jay Huff, Kai Clark. They'll pull it out. They'll verse UC Santa Barbara in this round of 32.
And then on Thursday in a play-in game, this is a good game, folks. We have Wichita State going up against Drake. Drake losing to
Loyola Chicago
in the Missouri Valley. Yep. And Wichita State lost to Cincinnati yesterday. But this is an intriguing game. But based off of experience and what I could see happening later on, I have Wichita State beating Drake. And then I have them going up against USC, and I have them going to the round of 32. So if you want to call this an upset, you can.
That's an upset.
I'm going to take Wichita State to go to round of 32 and defeat USC.
I'm not taking Wichita State to even win one of those games. I'm taking the Drake Bulldogs. They've been playing hot. Yes, they lost to Loyola Chicago a lot, but they are a very good basketball team, Loyola Chicago. And so is Drake, and Drake's going to be very hungry off of Missouri Valley Conference loss. I'll have them beat Wichita State, but I don't see them beating the USC Trojans, led by projected top 5 pick in the NBA draft, Evan Mobley.
So you have USC.
I have USC advancing to the round of 32.
And then we have Eastern Washington against Kansas. No-brainer right here for me. I'm taking Kansas. They have a great experience. Their defense is pretty good, right?
Yeah, led by guard Marcus Garrett. I like him.
I think Kansas goes to the round of 32 against Wichita State. Then we have VCU against the Oregon Ducks, who took a bad loss, I think, to Oregon State. VCU lost today to St Bonaventure. I think Oregon after that loss, I don't know if they're a trustworthy team maybe in the tournament. So I am going to take VCU to defeat Oregon and go to rounds. Do you consider that an upset or no?
No, that's not an upset. But I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to take Oregon. Again, I'm a big thing on being hungry after a big loss. They took a big loss to Oregon State, which is probably their biggest rival, Oregon State rivalry. So I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks to beat the VCU Rams.
And then in the 15-2 matchup, we have Grand Canyon against Iowa and Luka Garza. He's just a beast. They lost to Illinois, but I'm going to take Iowa in this one, and they make a run to the Elite Eight, I think.
Call me crazy, but I am
You're not taking Grand Canyon.
The Iowa Hawkeyes. They are not losing to Grand Canyon. They'll advance to go against Oregon. Luka Garza, he's too overpowered. He's probably either first or second in the National Player of the Year voting. Give me Iowa, round of 32 against Oregon.
And then we get to round of 32. We have Oklahoma versus Gonzaga. Intriguing game. Could be interesting. I'm going to take Gonzaga, though, and to get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no question. I'm taking Gonzaga, led by Corey Kispert, who's a National Player of the Year. I think he's probably top 5. And led by a guy who's going to be a top 10 pick in the NBA draft, point guard Jalen Suggs. He's a beast. Oklahoma, they're just not there yet. They had some good wins this year, good season, but Gonzaga stays undefeated into the Sweet 16.
We then have Creighton. I have Creighton against Virginia. I'm taking Virginia. I mean, Creighton, they might beat UC Santa Barbara. I don't see Creighton as that great of a team. Virginia, I do see them going into the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga. That's it. That's a good game right there, I think.
This is going to be a good game. Virginia is banged up, so give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. UC Santa Barbara takes out Virginia. Virginia, they had the COVID scares. I don't know if they're going to have some of their players back by then. So I'm taking the UC Santa Barbara Guachos.
That's such a cakewalk for Gonzaga that we get to the Elite Eight.
Hey, UC Santa Barbara Guachos over the Virginia Cavaliers to go to the Sweet 16.
Wow.
They're my Cinderella story, baby.
Wow. So I have Wichita State against Kansas in the round of 32. I am taking Kansas. I think their defense is too good. Wichita State, good season and all that. You got the number 1 seed in the Atlantic. What's the conference called? Atlantic Coast or something like that.
For who?
The Texas, Cincinnati, Wichita State.
American Athletic.
American Athletic. My bad. They had a good season. I'm going to take Kansas to go to Sweet 16. And who do you have in the USC Kansas matchup?
I think it'll be a very good game. Kansas, they're very good defensively. They can score the ball. Ochai Agbaji, he's very good offensively. Marcus Garrett, very good defensively. USC, they obviously have Evan Mobley. He's a great player. But I think Kansas's experience being in this spot, I think it takes over. I think they beat USC and advance to the Sweet 16 to face the winner of Oregon and Iowa.
So you're taking USC?
No, Kansas.
Oh,
Kansas. My
Kansas.
bad.
Okay.
Kansas.
All right. And then I have VCU versus Iowa. That should be a good game. I think VCU has experience. Yep. You guys don't know. They do have a lot of experience in the round of 32. I am going to take Iowa, though, and Luka Garza. I do think we get a Kansas and Iowa game. That should be intriguing. Who do you have in your Oregon-Iowa game?
I'm taking Iowa. I think an Iowa-Kansas game will be very good, very entertaining to watch. So I'm going to take Iowa to take the W against Oregon to set up probably one of the best Sweet 16s in the tournament between Iowa and Kansas.
Yes, sir. And then I have Virginia. We both have all the top seeds besides he has UC Santa Barbara, and I have Virginia. I have Virginia against Gonzaga. That should be an intriguing game. It should be a close game. Low scoring, I think. That game could possibly be a low-scoring game, but I'm going with the Zags to pull it out late. And I'm going to say Gonzaga moves on to the Elite Eight in that one. How about you?
Yeah, the Cinderella story ends. The Guachos, they face the undefeated Zags. I'll take the Zags to go to the Elite Eight. Good run by the Guachos of UC Santa Barbara. Hope you come out strong, beat Virginia, beat Creighton. But I'm going to end up taking Gonzaga to go into the Elite Eight.
And then you can go first on the Kansas and Iowa matchup.
Kansas, Iowa. Defensively, Kansas is better. Offensively, Iowa is better. This is an offensive-oriented world, I think. I'm taking Iowa to beat Kansas and to set up an Elite Eight matchup of 1 versus 2. Gonzaga versus Iowa.
Yep, I'm going back and forth on this one. Out in the living room when I was watching the selection show, I was saying, "Ooh, Kansas and Gonzaga, that's a good matchup." But I look at Iowa and Luka Garza. I don't know what to do on this one. So basically, you can flip a coin for me. I said earlier though that I do think Iowa goes to the Elite Eight. I have to stick on that. I'm going with Iowa to go to the Elite Eight against Gonzaga, and I have Gonzaga eventually winning the West region, and I have from the South and the West, I have Ohio State versus Gonzaga in the Final Four matchup.
I'm also taking Gonzaga to go over Iowa. I think Gonzaga, they're just a well-run team. Coach Mark Few, he knows what he's doing to set up a matchup in the Final Four. Gonzaga, the number 1 seed Gonzaga, taking on from the South, the 3 seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks.
You ready to go to the East region, my friend?
Let's go to the East region.
All right, let's do that. East region, we have a playing game on Thursday between Mount St. Mary's against Texas Southern. I'm going to take Texas Southern in this one.
I feel like Texas Southern's in this thing every year, so I'm going to take Texas Southern.
They're in it every year, and they're in it as a 16.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, and then they play Michigan, and Michigan blows them out.
Michigan blows them out.
But then we have, talk about being rigged.
My God.
We have St Bonaventure versus LSU, who got an 8. Oof.
LSU deserves to get at least a 6. I think possibly even a 5. But I'm going to this is a very good matchup. St Bonaventure won the Atlantic 10 conference today. LSU, talk about heartbreaking L to Alabama in the SEC final. But I'm going to take LSU to beat St. Bonaventure to set up a intriguing, very good matchup between Michigan and LSU for a round of 32 matchup.
Now you have teams that you have a heartbreaking loss. It's some teams can come back from that and have a good run. But you look at Bonaventure, they won their game today. They looked pretty excited when they got announced. LSU, they were heartbroken against Alabama. I don't think they can recover from this. Wow. I'm going to take St. Bonaventure to go up against Michigan, which I think could be an intriguing round of 32 matchup. So I'm going to take St. Bonaventure in that one. Then we have Georgetown, the Big East champions, against Colorado from the Pac-12. Ooh. Sorry, Georgetown. I'm taking Colorado in this one. I'm going with Colorado for the win.
Yeah, I think Georgetown, they had a nice run in the tournament, and the Big East tournament beating great teams, such as they beat Villanova, they beat Creighton, I think they beat Seton Hall. But the luck runs out there. Colorado, I have a series of teams that are I feel like I've been running for the last 2 weeks. Colorado's one of them. I'll take them any day over Georgetown. They're going to the round of 32.
And then we have the 13-4 matchup with UNC Greensboro against Florida State, who lost to Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. This could be close, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Florida State, though.
I'm taking Florida State, but shout out Coach Mark Ring, UNC Greensboro alumni. They're a good team, UNC Greensboro, but I'm sorry, I'm taking Florida State, but to set up in a very, very good Colorado, Florida State round of 32 matchup.
And then we have a playing game on Thursday between Michigan State and UCLA.
It's a good game.
I am going to take the Spartans.
I'm also taking the Spartans.
Yep. And then they will play the winner, and then they will go on to play BYU. And that could be a very intriguing game, but you look at BYU, they had a close one with Gonzaga. I think they are a decent team. I am going to take BYU in this one.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm taking Michigan State to beat BYU. I think BYU is seeded way too high. I think you switch LSU and BYU and it makes more sense. But Michigan State, I know I'm big on the Big Ten teams. They've all been playing really good basketball. Michigan State did take a bad L to Maryland, but I don't care. Michigan State will advance to beat BYU and face the winner of our next matchup,
which is Abilene Christian against Texas. Blowout. I'm sorry. I got Texas winning this one. They come off a Big 12 win in the championship against Oklahoma State. I got Texas all the way here.
I also have Texas, but it's going to be a little bit closer than you think. I think it'll be like a 10, 15-point loss. Freshman Greg Brown from Texas, very good player. He's also probably going to be a lottery pick in the NBA draft. But Texas, they won the Big 12 tournament, which consisted of Baylor, Kansas, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. So that was a very good win for them to not get themselves a 3 seed. They beat Abilene Christian to face Michigan State in the round of 32.
Mm-hmm. So you got Texas.
I got Texas.
Then we have Maryland against Connecticut in the round of 64. Intriguing matchup, I think. Maryland had a close one with Michigan in the first half, at least.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going with the Terps here. I'm gonna take Maryland. I'm gonna, take a risk, but I am going to take the Terps in this one, and I got them advancing to the round of 32.
I'm taking the Huskies. I'm taking UConn to beat Maryland. UConn was very hot going into the game to the Big East tournament. They took a bad loss. But, hey, they'll bounce back. They'll beat Maryland in this first round. And they'll face the winner of our next matchup, which is Iona versus Alabama, the 15 versus the 2. Pretty easy here. Iona is a solid 15 seed, but Alabama coming off a huge SEC championship in the regular season and in the SEC tournament. I'm taking Alabama over Iona to face UConn in the round of 32.
I'm taking Alabama as well here. Then we move on to the round of 32, and I have Michigan versus St Bonaventure. I do think that the journey for Bonaventure will end here, and the Michigan Wolverines move on to the Sweet 16. I think so. I'm going with Michigan.
This is a very good matchup. LSU, they got very robbed in the NCAA tournament, so it's a shame that they have to face Michigan this early, but I'm going to take Michigan to win it. If Hunter Dickinson, the freshman center, if he is fine by this time, then Michigan should go in the long run. So give me Michigan.
So next we have Colorado against Florida State. Good game. Good game there. I am going with your influence. I am going to go with the Colorado team to defeat Florida State. It should be a close matchup, but I'm going to I think Colorado and Michigan. That's a
good Sweet 16.
That's an interesting game, I think.
Yeah, it's a very good Sweet 16. I'm agreeing. You're agreeing with me. Colorado is one of my teams. I've liked them since 2 weeks ago, but I saw their big wins. I'm taking Colorado to Florida State. Florida State took a bad loss in the ACC championship game against Georgia Tech. So I'm gonna actually take Colorado, beat Florida State to set up a great Sweet 16 between Michigan and Colorado.
And then I have a BYU Texas matchup. I'm not picking against Texas here. I am going with the Texas Longhorns to defeat BYU here, and they will get into the Sweet 16.
Hook 'em horns. Give me Texas. They're probably the hottest team next to Gonzaga in college basketball right now. Played a great Big 12 tournament. Ended up winning the Big 12 championship. They have Michigan State, who beat BYU. They're coming off of a round of 16 loss in the freaking Big 10 tournament. Bad loss to Maryland, but they make it to the round 32, taking out of Texas. Texas advances to the Sweet 16.
And then I have Maryland against Alabama. Alabama's a hot team. With their SEC win today, I think they go into the Sweet 16. Texas. So the East region, Colorado for me, Colorado and Michigan, and Texas and Alabama. Those are two very good Sweet 16 games.
Yeah, I'm going to have the same Sweet 16 games as you. I got Alabama beating UConn. I can see this being an upset and UConn taking the W. Alabama, again, might be one of the most hottest teams in college basketball right now. The setup, two of the hottest teams in college basketball in the Sweet 16, we get Texas and we get Alabama. Now let's go to the next one.
We have Colorado from the Pac-12 against Michigan. You got it first, bud.
This is tough for me to pick because I love both of these teams in the tournament, but I think Michigan's experience, their star power, it overmatches out Colorado. Michigan takes the W. They're going to the Elite Eight to take on the winner of Alabama and Texas.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado, they had a solid run in the tournament, made it all the way to the Sweet 16, I think. And they come up short against Michigan. I think it'll be a very close game, but Michigan, I mean, they've been in this spot a ton of times. So I think they get here again, that they make it to the Elite Eight. And I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines too. And then we have Texas against the Crimson Tide of Alabama.
Hook 'em horns. Texas is one of the hottest teams. They get the job done. The setup, probably my favorite, one of my favorite Elite Eight matchups in this thing. Give me Texas over Alabama.
And that's what I'm going to disagree with, because Alabama, they are also a very hot team as well. So I have a Alabama-Michigan matchup in the Elite Eight. I'm just going to go straight into there. I have Alabama going to the Final Four, folks. I have Alabama defeating Michigan. Very close game, but not all the one seeds can make it to the Final Four. So I am going with the Alabama Crimson Tide to make it to the Final Four.
You're absolutely right with one seeds not making it, but this is not a case where a one seed will not make it. Give me Michigan. They beat Texas. Michigan goes into the Final Four with Arkansas and Gonzaga. And now we head to the Midwest region.
The final region we have to talk about before we predict our Final Four and who wins the entire thing. But we have Drexel at the 16 seed against the Big Ten champions, Illinois. I think is the hottest team in all of college basketball right now, and they steamroll through Drexel. I'm going to go with Illinois. By the way, shout out to Gamers Goon. Congrats on the Big Ten championship today.
Give me Illinois in a blowout.
And then we have a very, very intriguing 8-9 matchup with Georgia Tech against Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago, they are given a lot of respect with them getting an 8 seed, I think.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of respect, but you know who's getting a lot of disrespect? Georgia Tech. They were the ACC champions. Give them some respect, NCAA. So I'm taking Georgia Tech. I think they beat Loyola Chicago.
Very good game. This is a very good game. It could go any way. But with the celebration and the post-speech that I saw with Georgia Tech last night on ESPN, I am going with Georgia Tech to defeat Loyola Chicago. And I think we get Georgia Tech, a hot Georgia Tech team, against a hot Illinois team. That could be very interesting. And then we have the Oregon State Beavers against the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm going to go first on this one. For me, I have not picked a 12-5 upset yet. I think this is the time I do my 12-5 upset. I am going with the Oregon State Beavers to defeat the Tennessee Volunteers, and I got the 12 seed Oregon State going to the round of 32.
I'm not picking that. Give me the Tennessee Volunteers. Oregon State, their run has been ended. Tennessee to the round of 32. And then we go to the 13-4 matchup between the Liberty Flames and the Oklahoma State
Cowboys.
I don't even know their name. They're led by freshman phenom point guard Cade Cunningham. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. They're going to steamroll Liberty. Liberty's a good team, and they got a bad draw. Give me Oklahoma State to take on Tennessee in the round of 32.
Give me Oklahoma State to take on Oregon State in the round of 32. And then we have the Orange of Syracuse against San Diego State of the Aztecs. Could be an upset here. I am not going to take an upset here. I am going to take the San Diego State Aztecs to move on to the round of 32. Who do you got in this one?
I'm taking San Diego State Aztecs. Syracuse had a close game with Virginia in the ACC tournament in the quarters, but the Aztecs are on a hot run. They're going to keep going to the round of 32 to take on the winner of Morehead State and West Virginia. Easy dubs. Give me West Virginia.
Yeah, I think that's an easy game to pick right there. West Virginia, though, they lost in the quarters to they lost Oklahoma State. Yes, so give me West Virginia to go to the round of 32 against San Diego State, which could be a very good game, I think. And then we have Rutgers against Clemson. Now, Clemson had a terrible loss to the 13 seed Miami Hurricanes, and I think. Do you consider Rutgers beating Clemson an upset?
Nope, because I'm picking it too. Rutgers over Clemson.
I'm taking Rutgers as well. And then we have Cleveland State against the Houston Cougars. Houston all the way, man. Houston all the way.
Can I talk about the next matchup first?
You got it.
People, I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. Give me Georgia Tech over Illinois.
Because
they have a guy by the name of Jose Alvarado who will shut Ayo Dosunmu down. And they also have a guy named Moses Wright, who's a beast. Give me Georgia Tech, the 9 seed, over Illinois, the number 1 seed.
That's probably the biggest upset. So far here. It's going to be a very good game. Illinois is just I'm just going to keep referring to it. I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing this game. Yes, Georgia Tech. They beat Florida State to win the ACC championship game. But I said to him today, if they played Virginia in that semifinal game, I don't think they would have beaten Virginia. So they might not have even been in this tournament.
Yep.
But I am going with the Illinois team to go to the Sweet 16. And I have them facing the winner of Oregon State against Oklahoma State. And I have them going up against Oklahoma State.
Give me Oklahoma State over Tennessee by 1 million.
You think they would blow them out?
Yes.
And then we have the San Diego State Aztecs against West Virginia. Ooh.
I can go first.
Go ahead.
West Virginia will beat them up. They're so good inside. Their interior defense, their interior scoring. Derek Culver, the forward from West Virginia. West Virginia to the Sweet 16.
You know what? Give me West Virginia. I was going to take San Diego State, but just the way you were saying it right there, it's really like, is that a good decision? But I'm going to take West Virginia to go to the Sweet 16. And then we have Rutgers against Houston. Give me Houston.
Give me Houston, too.
And then you could go first with your matchup.
I got Georgia Tech and Oklahoma State. I'm a big believer in Cade Cunningham. I think he is a damn beast. Oklahoma State beats Georgia Tech. The run ends. Give me Oklahoma State in the Elite Eight.
And then I have Oklahoma State against Illinois in the Sweet 16. Should be a very, these two teams are very hot. Oklahoma State, they lost to Texas, but they are still a pretty damn good team. And I have Illinois beating them, and I have Illinois going to the Elite Eight.
West Virginia taking on Houston.
This is a toss-up, yeah.
I always go, there's always that one team that no one expects to do this. Give me Houston. Houston goes to the Elite Eight.
I mean, they're a 2 seed, so
they're
people could expect them.
But they're an easy target because they're not in they're in the American Athletic, so there's an easy target for an upset. But I think they're good enough to make the Elite Eight.
You see, West Virginia, they had the experience though. They've been in the Elite Eight before, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Houston, I don't remember any time that Houston Cougars were in the Elite Eight. So you give me West Virginia in this one, and then you have the Big 12 against the Big 10. Give me Kofi Cockburn. Give me Ayo Dosunmu. That's his last name, right?
Yeah.
And give me Illinois in the Final Four.
I'm gonna take Oklahoma State to defeat Houston in the Elite Eight. Cade Cunningham leads Oklahoma State to the Final Four to take on Michigan.
And then, folks, we get to the Final Four. My Final Four and your Final Four. You can go first.
Okay, so we got Arkansas versus Gonzaga in the first one. As much as I want to pick Arkansas here, I think their luck runs out. Gonzaga is just such a great team. Give me Gonzaga to make it to the national finals.
And then I have Ohio State against Gonzaga. Could be a good game. Give me the Bulldogs of Gonzaga going into the national championship game. And then I have the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Illinois Alumni. I am going with Illinois. I think this matchup, the Gonzaga-Illinois man, it just makes sense. You have the big, unstoppable, undefeated Gonzaga team going up against the hottest team, I think, in all of NCAA, Illinois, in the championship game, and then you can do your other Final Four games.
Yeah, this is a kind of like a curveball, Oklahoma State, Michigan. By this time, Hunter Dickinson will be back, probably. Give me Michigan in the championship, so we get a Gonzaga Michigan national championship, and my national champions are the Michigan Wolverines. They win the national title this year.
I don't know who to pick between Illinois and Gonzaga. You know what? Give me Gonzaga. I think they've been in this for so long. They've either been a 2 or 1, and they've always found a way to lose. Either in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. A couple years ago, they lost in the championship to my North Carolina Tar Heels. But they've been in this for so long. They've been damn good for a very long time. Give me Gonzaga. Give me Gonzaga to win. I think this is finally their year. I think they finally get a national championship under their belt.
That's a video.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 2 of the Big Fight Field podcast right here on the Big Fight Field channel. We want to thank every single one of you who watched the preview of March Madness here on the podcast. If you have not already, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for some content upcoming this week. We have a busy week ahead. We have Monday Night Raw. We have AEW Dynamite. We have NXT. We have preview and predictions for Fastlane. We have SmackDown, the Big Fight Field podcast, and the Fastlane review on Sunday night. So we have 7 videos coming up for you guys this week. Comment down below. We both want to know who you guys are picking to win the national championship in the March Madness. Who is your Cinderella team that you have going a long way? And who do you think makes it to the Final Four? Hit that like button, like I said. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Brother, you have any last minute words before we get out of here?
Make sure to tune in next week for the Big Fight Field podcast episode 3.
And we are also thinking about doing recaps of like the round of 64 and the round of 32. What do you say? We do a recap like the first round 64 is Friday, Saturday. What do you say we do a recap Sunday morning before the round of 32?
How about we let the comment section decide?
Yeah, let you guys decide. Do you want to see us do a recap of March Madness games from 64 to 32 to the Sweet 16? You guys decide down in the comments, and I'll put a poll out on Twitter as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow night, for your Monday Night Raw review. Have a good night.
Peace.
Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.